Hi, what's your name?
James Carbo,
And where are you from?
Seattle, Washington.
That's quite a bit of distance from Chicago. What was the big motivation?
Well, I've been loved Bowie for years, and I needed a vacation actually, and I decided to come out and see the 1984 show and all its glory.
Rock and roll history, huh?
Yeah, right.
Well, how did you get here? Did you fly?
I took the bus for 3 days. Yeah.
The bus for 3 days.
Yeah,
Well, we were planning this thing for about 6 months, so I
Yeah.
think that's about right.
Well, I decided to read all my Bowie biographies on the way on the bus, so I could converse with other Bowie fans and see how they thought about him too. You know.
And what do you think that makes David Bowie so unique that people come from all over the world for an event like this?
Probably he's so versatile in his, his perspective on life and in his theatrical influences and versatility, I guess, you know.
So are you pleased being here?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it's the highlight of my life, actually.
The highlight of your life?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's a pretty unusual emblem you have in your face. What's the significance of that?
That's Aladdin Sane
And how long have you been a Bowie fan?
for about 3 years.
And are you going to enter the costume contest?
I think I am.
What is it that Bowie does that makes people come that far?
I don't know, he's just got something that just gets you. You just want to come.
We've got a couple of ladies here who traveled a great distance to come here to the BowieCon, and they're from Canada, right?
That's right, Montreal.
Montreal. Montreal too?
Yeah,
Now, what made you come to the United States to see this thing?
because we're very big Bowie fans, so we thought it would have a fun weekend here.
Okay, one of the big things here, obviously, at the floor show is this concessions and dealers. This is the front table, and selling programs, T-shirts, and other stuff. This is my brother Tommy. Are you guys having a good time here?
Yeah, it sure is. It's a lot of fun. It's not what I expected. I thought that it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot less than this. Is more than I expected than it would be. More people showed up than I thought. I thought costumes have been good. I was really surprised at some of them.
All the staff here seems pretty exhausted. You know, the staff has been, last night they came in at 1 o'clock, set up some stuff, and they got out this morning at 7. We had a time change because of spring, and everybody looks really kind of zonked out. Let's hope everybody can go through. Think you're going to make it?
oh, for sure. We're not going to miss Bowie, are we?
I hope not.
I knew David Bowie when he was in Toronto. He was David Jones then.
You knew him then?
Oh, yes.
And how did you get to know David Bowie?
Well, he was doing early folk singing work, and he was there to listen to Leonard Cohen and Gordon Lightfoot.
And this was about what year?
66 and 67, approximately.
And how did you find out about the BowieCon?
I heard about it in the paper, but I followed everything that Bowie's done.
A favorite David Bowie album? Do you have one?
Oh, and unquestionably, the man who sold the world.
We passed up on the stair. We spoke of was and when.
While I was standing in the wings just now, I was looking through this program, and I see that mention has been made of my visit to New York when I brought David's recording on rubber band. It was at that time my belief that David was the most important young artist that I had the privilege to manage. And I believe that with dedication, determination, and patience on his part, coupled with the required amount of luck, sort of luck that every career needs, he would, within a few years, become a world star. But on November the 10th, 1966, when I was on my way to West 25th Street in New York, the most I dared hope for the immediate future was that London Records would like Rubber Band and release it in the United States, thereby introducing David Bowie for the first time to the American public. And of course they did do that. What was remarkable was that so many people had never heard of this man, and yet the moment that record was played on radio, we began to get a flood of mail. And it's quite fitting, I think, that this convention should be held in Chicago, because in 1969 it was Mercury Records of Chicago, albeit through their London office, who gave David Bowie a contract when no other company would. And David had just made a demonstration of Sway Oddity. And I'd been taking this demonstration disc to a number of recording companies, and one by one they turned it down. And there was one particularly depressing day when our last result said, no, it's very nice, but really we don't see this at all, it's not our cup of tea. And when I got back to the apartment where David was living at the time, he saw how unhappy I was, and he said, never mind, Ken, we've always got Chicago. And so that became a sort of a catchphrase for a long time. Whenever things were a little dismal, David will pop up and say, never mind, Ken, we've always got Chicago. And so, one of the reasons why I came here today was to say, thank you very much, Chicago, for throwing David Bowie and me that lifeline back in 1969, without which possibly Space Oddity would never ever be released.
England wouldn't, but Chicago did. Yeah!
So many people ask me the same question. What is David going to do now? What about the 80s? Now that he has seemingly abandoned as many guises, has cast off his masks.
How's that?
Well, I'm not going to prophesy, except to say that David will not make a film of the life of Frank Sinatra. What I would like David to do in the 80s, I would like him to abandon the very, very last of his guises, the last of his characters. It bears the label David Bowie, because in my view, David Bowie is David Jones's most brilliant creation. And I fear that if he persists with the Bowie character, there is a danger of that character overstaying its welcome and becoming a crashing bore. And therefore, I hope that David Jones, who has a wealth of talent, a treasure house of creativity, will move more to the fore. And even you people who are his dedicated fans can have no idea of the brilliance of the talent of David Jones. And whatever the new system is going to be, what electronics come about, I think David will be at the forefront of that advancement.
Ground control to Major Tom.
There we go, come on. These were actually worn by David Bowie. If only on his feet. 160, we're creeping up. 170, you're marvelous. Come on, let's get near 200 at least. We've got 280. Any advance on 280? They're getting heavy. Right, 280, going. Thank you. 280 for the lady. So I thought that just to add a little fun to the proceedings, I would ask for some more money. Now, you don't have to be a boy to buy this. They are very useful for all sorts of things. Girls, you can put balls of wool in them for when you're knitting, and they make nice little hats. You can strain fruit through them. This was something that was very close to David, if not close to his heart. And therefore, how much am I bid for this very interesting item? Thank you. 25 cents. That's not bad, really. They didn't cost that. $20. Thank you very much. It's great. Any advance on $20? 55. Thank you. You're a liberated lady, obviously. 55. $60. Thank you. Thank you. Don't forget that there are two people associated with this, not only David Bowie, but Marty Christian. Any advance on 60? No? Okay. Going, gone. And thank you all very, very much indeed. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken, for we flew Ken in from London, England. He came all the way from London for this, and I really want to say thank you because this is the man that discovered David Bowie and made him what we like him today. Okay, everybody, really, really glad to have Ken, and we really appreciate his auction and concern. We're really glad to have you here. Thanks a lot.
I've never seen any single person honored like this before, only maybe the Beatles, where a whole convention is devoted to them. And I guess about 10 years from now, you'll look back at this as quite a day. And I've had a great time here. There's some more things happening, like the Men Who Fell to Earth film is being shown in the unedited version, I understand, with more sex than the American version. I know you all want to see David Bowie into more sex. And a lot of you have had questions that maybe the rest of the audience would like to share. Now, Dr. David Fletcher, who should really get a hand for putting this whole thing together. I guess you realize what organization and time and money it must take to pull something like this off and make it a success, and I think he has. And he knows a lot more about David Bowie in the technical sense than I do. In fact, all the questions he's been asking me in the last few days, I think he knows more about the dates and places and facts than I do. I had some nice personal experiences with David, and oh, you dirty little things. But the greatest thing about David is that he recognized something in me, which a lot of pop stars I met never had before. And he gave me a chance to work for him and to help make his name known to the world. I did that from 72 to 74. I had a fantastic time doing it. And he let me make a little reputation for myself in doing it. Very unselfishly, I might add. And I hope you all get to meet him. It gets harder. The more famous a person gets, the harder it gets to meet him. You're all asking me how I met him. And I met him when he was a lot less famous than he is now. So it was a lot easier. He was just playing little clubs where you could walk right up to him and say, hello, David. And that's a little more difficult now with all the security around him. But if you do get the chance, I know he won't let you down. And that should be a reminder to look to the people who are playing the little clubs in your town, because a lot of them are future David Bowies. I'll try to read you this poem if I can. Please bear with me. I was a lot younger when I wrote it. My eyesight was better. And now here I am, they've kept me up for 48 hours to come to this thing. But this I wrote for David. It was actually a little birthday card given to him. People started believing that he was Ziggy Stardust at one time, and I heard him talk with some kids in a restaurant and tell them that Ziggy Stardust was just an illusion, and they had to get beyond that. And so that inspired this little poem. It had pictures that went with it, and I gave it to David once for a birthday present. There once was a lovely blue planet with sunshine and flowers and rain. The singers all said it was dying, though most of them said it in vain. They all got together at Woodstock to pray for a light from the sky. The rain made them love one another, and millions of people asked why. And then came the dawn of a decade, and nothing, it seemed, was the same. The Beatles had gone out to pasture, and Jagger had gone on to fame. The lovely blue planet kept turning, till one day a spaceman appeared. He brought them all back to the theater, and showed them the things they all feared. He didn't use drugs or electronics to recreate what they all saw. He simply got out of his body and made up his face like before. The children all wanted to touch him to satisfy bodily needs. But touching a hologram spaceman is like thinking that love comes in beads. And so when they couldn't destroy him, they figured he must be a god. They threw away T-Rex and Taylor and even stopped listening to Rod. He preached about love from the stages in a form they could all understand. A red-headed Capricorn savior on tour with a rock and roll band. He reached out and touched many young minds and changed quite a few of them too. And one day at Mercury City, he died when his main circuit blew. The lovely blue planet kept turning, but a new life had started to grow. Ziggy Stardust was just an illusion, but the children all saw it through the show.
Ziggy played